And I think of that opening clip I played from Epstein's deposition, right? And there is really not that much to see in that 2-hour-long deposition because he answers almost everything the same way. You know, I'd really love to answer your questions that are relevant to this trial. However, my counsel has recommended that I assert my rights under the 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment, da-da-da-da-da. And then there's one question. This is not a trial, I should say. This is a film deposition, right? And he gets the question, while you were teaching at the Dalton School, did you have sex with any underage students? And he completely turns his head. For almost the entire video up to that point, he has been behind, I don't know if it was a podium, lectern, whatever, but he's been behind the podium, well, whatever, looking to his right with his hand under his chin, right? And he's been looking either bored or sort of half smiling. But when he gets the question about sex with underage students, he completely looks the other way. And I was trying to figure out, what is he doing there? And then I realized that I don't know if this is a law. I mean, I'm sure this is America, so I'm sure the law is different every 30 feet in any fucking direction because this isn't a real country. But in some places, at least, legal proceedings, even if they're not trials, even if they're things like depositions, have to be sound recorded, even if they're not video recorded, as a check against any attempts to falsify transcripts later, right? And it hit me having scoured audio from things like this before, that in most of those recordings of legal proceedings, they're using some, shitty little like cassette tape sized, put it on the desk recorder. But crucially, they usually use something that has a pair of stereo microphones, not just one mic. And the microphones themselves are shitty, but they're pointing in two different directions. And the point of this is that, during the course of a 2-hour deposition, the people who are speaking off camera, they don't say their names over and over again. They don't announce, this is me saying that, right? And so the stereo microphone setup means that if you put on headphones, you can hear where in the room relative to Epstein, the people were talking, right? You can hear that, okay, this guy's in my left ear, this guy's in my right ear. And so I put headphones on and I listened to this deposition. And Epstein's lawyer is in my left ear the whole time, right? So that means that from Epstein's perspective, the lawyer was to the right of him. That's what he's looking at the whole time. His lawyer. As his lawyer follows up every fucking question with move to strike, hostile, badgering the witness, every conceivable bullshit legal out. And the questions are coming from the right side of the audio, in the right headphone, which of course is to Epstein's left, the guys in front of him. So for the first 13 and a half minutes of this deposition, Epstein does not look at the guy who is asking him the questions. He's looking at his own lawyer, just kind of going, right, you're going to do that next, right? Okay, and then you're going to do that next. Okay. And Then he gets the question, did you ever have sex with underage students? And he fully turns his head to look at the person who asked that question for the first time. And for the first time, he doesn't go into the, I would love to answer all of your questions. No. His answer to that question is, say that again. And the guy says it again. And then really, another non-answer. But the fact of him looking at him for the first time and saying, say that again. As soon as I saw it, I knew what I was looking at. Namely, that up until that point, Jeffrey was willing to accept this as the kind of inconvenience you deal with when you have a life as beautiful as his. And even toward the, it's not a prosecuting attorney exactly because it's not a trial, but the guy who is essentially fulfilling that role, Epstein is thinking, look, I understand how things work, all right? I have to come in here and waste 2 fucking hours of my valuable fucking time, more valuable, frankly, than someone like you could ever fucking understand. And I know you have to ask me questions, and I'm going to say, fuck off. But these are roles we play, right? I'm going to say, I'd really like to answer your questions. You know it's not true. I know it's not true. We all know every fucking dodge in the book. But hey, as long as you just do this the right way, as long as you just do what you got to do in your role, and I do what I have to do in mine, and then we all go home, and you go home to some shithole, and I go home to being God, no hard feelings. Nothing personal about any of this. I'm not going to remember your face, your name. I'm not going to remember any of this. But when he turns his head and says, say that again, that is not him not understanding the question. That is Epstein looking this lawyer in the eye for the first time to say, do you realize what you just did? Do you have any fucking idea what you just did? You took something that was procedural, irritating, sure, but I've been in a lot of depositions in my life, okay? I know how to deal with them, and I know that you know how to deal with them. And we both know that there is no need to make this any more fucking personal than it has to be. And you were doing so well for the first 13 minutes. And then you said that. And I'm looking in your eyes and saying, say that again? Because, as you know perfectly well, that is a threat. That is me saying to you, uh-oh, I'm going to remember your name now. I'm going to remember your face now. I'm going to use whatever resources I need to use. And believe me, I have as many as any human being has ever had to fuck you. And it's going to be the kind of fucking that you don't recover from. It's going to be the kind of fucking that lasts you until the end of the fucking world. And you are going to think 100,000 times, couldn't I have just not said, did you ever have sex with underage students when you were teaching at the Dalton School? Couldn't I have just not said that? I knew the trial was never going to happen. I knew this deposition meant nothing. But I wanted to make a point. I wanted to look good. I wanted to seem like a serious lawyer. And so I did the worst thing I could have done. I gave Jeffrey Epstein, who really wants to answer all these questions, but unfortunately, counsel has advised him that he must plead the rights given to him under the 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendments of the Constitution of the United States. That's all I wanted to say. But you have given me a reason to keep you in mind. And there's two kinds of people in this world, really, when we get all the way down to it. There's people who are very glad that I'm thinking about them, and there's people who are fucking horrified that I'm thinking about them. And you just made that second list. And to see this in real time, to see not only Epstein effectively saying all this in real time, but to grasp that the moment Epstein finally locked eyes with that lawyer, he probably thought, fuck. Oh, fuck. Jesus, this will not have been worth it. Should I apologize after this? Fuck. Can anyone tell him I'm sorry? That is what you need to know about the structure of this organism, or of this pseudo-organism, which soon enough will have replaced every real organism on the face of this planet, and who knows, maybe on the cold, dead fucking moon.